What's up guys, Derek, moreplaysmartdates.com. Today we are reacting to Isabel Crazy Abs, bro. Yes, Isabel Flores has made it to many of Explore page at this point. Is that even grammatically correct? Many a Explore page, bro. And blessed them with her crazy abs. That is what she wants to be known for, evidently. She has her Linktree extension, Isabel Crazy Abs, bro. Isabel Flores. And in every single picture, essentially, it's showing off her crazy abs. Now, why is this so unique? You know, there are so many people in the fitness industry with crazy abs. It is because females in general don't have crazy abs. They are typically, if they're in, you know, very low body fat percentage and great shape, they will typically have like a lean, refined, you know, kind of like toned stomach area, but it's not going to have like deep six-pack ab separation like a, you know, a more masculine, like built, dense core. Just the like actual structural foundation of, you know, most women are simply not equipped with natural hormones and the actual like abdominal wall development and whatnot to actually have like a protruding, defined, like poppin' ass six-pack. So typically it's like very, very unusual to see something like this and few and far between. So she's kind of like making it a point to showcase it very frequently, and it's becoming a brand for her of sorts, her crazy abs. So the wild thing about this though is how few and far between I see an example of actual good abdominal inserts in individuals who presumably have cosmetic intervention done. So when I look at this, like you can actually see she's in amazing shape. Like by all means, she definitely puts in the work. Look at this shot. Like it actually looks, I don't know, like she just built them, to be honest. You know? Like you know, you might be like, no fucking way, dude, right now. But when you look at some of these other shots, it starts to look a bit more like turtle shell-esque and a bit less like congruent to the rest of the physique. Like it does not really like flow in the same way as the rest of the physique. There's like this like almost disproportionate, odd, asymmetrical in some capacity separation that just, you know, you can't really explain why other than it just looks like it doesn't fit. It just doesn't look like it's supposed to be there, but it's fucking there, dude. And it's a blatant six-pack, and she's very jacked and like presumably for the most part gets away with most people thinking this is just built. Like she has the crazy abs. She, you know, just built this shit through hard sheer work and intensity, which, you know, is certainly possible, I guess. However, to me, this seems to be an example of abdominal implants. Now, I could be wrong. I could be fucking wrong on this, dude. But I mean, the fact that she highlights her crazy abs and uses it as a way to build her brand, I think it's reasonable to speculate as to why they are so incongruent relative to the rest of her physique, given that, you know, it's just not really representative of the female, like, proportional distribution of muscularity. Like, let's be honest. So she's either incredibly genetically gifted, you could say, in a way that makes her abdominals like far more developed than the rest of her body. But at the same time, I do not think it looks congruent with the physique where it is necessarily the most flattering thing. Now, it definitely makes you think this girl is jacked upon a glance. Like, damn, this is like one of the only chicks you've ever seen with like a fucking 8-pack, bro. It's kind of nuts. You know, here she is just playing with her hair. You don't do sit-ups like me, bro. Check it. Fucking 8-pack galore. Yeah, buddy. So again, I'm not doubting the work is put in, and she definitely likes to showcase her hard work, which is totally fine. In the fitness industry, this is how you build brand oftentimes for guys or gals with amazing physiques, and you know, like why not if you put in the fucking work? But at the same time, I think this is an example of what I would say is a cosmetic procedure. So a lot of people have speculated about Liver King and his supposed ab implants. There are other individuals I've covered on this channel before, like Elliot Page, who I think probably had ab implants, but I could be wrong on that. I've covered individuals who, I think David Guetta was a weird one, like a real like blurred lines one. But you could say he's just a hard worker and it looked, you know, pretty natural for sure. But this individual, I think, skirts the line where a lot of people probably have no fucking idea. But in general, I think it is actually the representation of ab implants. And I really question why people do this, to be honest. Like, this is something that I have yet to see one good example of where it was done so well that it was unnoticeable, which presumably is the overall point of a cosmetic procedure, is for it to be so imperceivable that you have no idea it's even a cosmetic procedure. Like, nobody should be questioning really that it was done, other than if you had breast implants, because that's pretty fucking obvious. You're not going to just show up with a perfectly sculpted circle on your chest overnight. That would just make no sense. However, with the abs, it's like, it's such a finicky muscle with so much detail surrounding it as it gets developed. There's vasculature going up it that becomes more evident and popping as you get leaner. There's these separation lines that become more blurred by the day if you like fuck up your diet, or become more prominent if you're more dehydrated, and like all these things that play into it that do not simply, and you have like, you know, the serratus detail and the fucking slicey diciness. And this looks odd if you're not in perpetually good shape with these six-pack ab implants. And even if you're in good shape, oftentimes they look incongruent too. Like I showed the example of the fitness couple who showed up on stage on a literal bodybuilding competition stage in Canada, and clearly both had implants. Like, it was not well received. They got a lot of criticism for it. And as far as I know, you know, like probably didn't compete again. And they definitely got the heat from that situation. So that was a while ago though. And I have not yet seen an individual step on like a North American stage with as bad of an example of evident ab implants as that. But this individual has blessed many an Explore page, like I said, and likes to show off the detail. And like I said, you know, as a fitness model who represents herself with this, you know, musculature. So I would imagine there are actual significant health risks that come with a surgery like this too. I can't imagine that it's any different than a breast implant too, where there is some level of autoimmune reaction that could be occurring from having this thing sitting inside your body, and your body potentially leaching off of it for years to come. And I just have not seen an example where it was cosmetically representative of like a good, unnoticeable, imperceivably, you know, synthetic, like you have no idea that it's actual ab implants procedure done. So I question why people still do this stuff, you know, like the Brazilian butt lift stuff. Like, okay, I can kind of get it because they're supposed to be like fat there. So it's like, you know, you potentially can get away with it. The breast implants, I get it, of course. But when it comes to this thing, it's like, bro, I just can't fucking wrap my head around it, man. The fitness industry never fails to, I don't know, I wouldn't say disappoint, but like surprise in terms of, you know, the characters that are in it, what they're willing to do, the extents they're willing to, you know, take their physiques to the point where you can't even tell if like what they're walking around with is actual muscle or like a fucking silicone, perfectly sculpted or nearly perfectly sculpted, you know, six-pack insertion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Which actual implants do you think are acceptable, if any? Do you think that women should just get away from them nowadays, given the new information and knowledge surrounding autoimmune reactions and whatnot? Like, what do you think in general of stuff like this? Do you think it's just obvious and looks absolutely absurd, or do you think there's a place for it? Because I have yet to see an example of a good procedure, to be honest, and I'm open to seeing any examples, if there are any. And now some might say Liver King is like a spot on one, but I don't know, man. You know, etching versus implants versus nothing, questionable. Let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm. Much appreciated. Like, subscribe. Check out my blog, moreplacemoredates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplacemoredates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. Talk to you guys soon.